Hi everyone, welcome back to the second instalment on the detailed videos on how to build a root-free Lite CNC machine. In the previous episode we went through what's involved and what materials are needed to build the machine, and the first steps of assembling the carriages, painting the panels and cutting the rods and box sections down to length. In this episode we'll continue building the machine and assembling all the carriages together. Right, so we've just been outside and put a clear coat on the underside, and then wait for that to set, flip it back over and do another clear coat. I'll take you guys back out to see the end of that, so hopefully it'll be a bit in sync for when we're ready to get the side panels in and the baseboard in, and then start putting the whole thing together and making a machine. Right. Same again. I'm going to take this block and do the same. Now, for me, there's no real clean-up work been done on these parts. All I've done is taken them off the bed and cleaned up the edges from the ABS juice that I use. That's all. I've not drilled out any holes, anything like that. This is as they are off the printer. Right, now we've got our two carriages done, I'm going to put another set of nuts on. Pretty much all the way down to the end. Put a couple of washers on, not one on each. And then we are ready to join this with our carriage. Take note where the end stop switches are. I want them on the top, so I'm going to put this through here like so. Now you can put these carriages together and slot them on before you put the end pieces on, but I just find it a bit easier doing it this way. Now for this one I'm going to be putting my Lite LED strip mount on. Make sure it's facing where the spindle will be. Then apply some nuts and washers. Now this is where, once these start, you don't want to over tighten these as it will add friction to the carriage. You want it to run nice and smooth but not have any play in it like this. And then I'll show you if I do it up too tight. It doesn't take much. It gets really stiff. No, that's not what you want. Even though it's nice and rigid, it's not what you want. It's not the tightest I could do, it's just finger tight, but you just want to probably have it around about there and then push the carriage up. Hang on, I've got two washers on it and no washers on the other one. And then, as you can see, it's fairly tight. But what I'm going to do is try and push it back off the other side using these bolts. Just to see. Where we end up. You see now by doing them bolts up, it's made it a little bit looser. Yes, it moves better, but there's slop in it. So I'm going to go from the other side now and tighten it down. And again, now back being stiff. Now that's not too bad. Probably want to come from the other side again. So it's just a game of tying them up, getting them tight so the nuts don't come loose, but also not too tight that the carriage comes loose. Now that, for me, I think that's quite nice. I'll make sure these are nice and tight now. That's quite nice, I like that. Now, same again for the other carriage. That's about right, I think. I don't want it too loose that they have slop in them, but that's probably just enough. Right. I've also learned in the past that put all the fittings on before it's in the machine, because you've got to get the nuts in and out. So now we need to install the motor mount for the X and Z axis. It's just M3 nuts, all the same. So I think I'm not quite finished with the M5 stuff yet, but now I need to get some nuts. Now this machine does take fewer different sizes of nuts and bolts, but it's just getting the right combination, getting the right ones. I don't know all of them off the top of my head. Right. We need to mount our idler on. These are M3 by 10. I have got. It's alright. Oh, these don't take penny washers. Oopsie. No, we don't need washers on these. You can kind of see it as going through the inside. all the nuts and bolts on this are all captive, so even though there's slots, it will go down into a hex cut out for the bolt, for the nut even, sorry. Nice, right. Same on these, even though it's a square slot, there is on the side a key for it. They're like hex bit. Now before we put this on, we need to slide our nuts in. Oh dear. Now you don't have to do all 4 of these on this side. It's only where you only really want to be installing nuts where they're going to be where you're going to mount something to them. So this plate doesn't go across all 4 of them; it just goes across the 3. So. Start at you'll be able to see that the bottom set are only holes, whereas the subsequent ones are slotted holes. So start off doing the ones with just the holes first. And don't forget your penny washers. Right, it should look something like this. The middle ones stand taller because of the where the slots are for the nuts. Right. And then go through tightening the bottom ones down first. Right, so that means the 2 gantries carriages are joined together now. Now the front half is kind of similar to Route 2, but minus these carriages. So, but there's no reason why you have to have the 2 things. You can put linear guides if you wanted to on this, just to print these ones only and have 2 of them. Right, get in there slowly. Right. I'll finish this one up and then I'll go and get the go back outside and lacquer the other side up. Just a quick look at it before it gets covered up. Smooth rods in. Before going all the way up with it. Yep. Just remember to install the carriages. Right. And if it's all gone well, it should line up perfectly. There we go. Now, I did originally put tape around these bearings, but when the spindle's in, it will hold it together anyway. And if you are worried about the 2 not tracing, following one another, you could put 2 bolts through and sandwich it together. But I've only ever done that once, but subsequently not bothered. So. Yeah, don't do what I do, over tighten these. They don't need to be tight because even just with the screws being like nipped up, it puts enough friction on these rods that they won't be able to come out anyway. But using something like this, you can get a bit too much torque on them sometimes. So just make sure you don't go too mad. Do the same again for the other side. Alright, there you have it. That's one X carriage pretty much done, albeit we need to get the lead screw installed. But there it is. Yeah, these lead screws aren't the best, they're really cheap ones. I've cherry picked the best ones out, as I say, but this one will work. It's just a bit, it needs oil on it, but it's a bit too tight. It shouldn't be like this. It's a bit too tight for my liking. But yeah, if you know, it will wear in. I'm not worried about that. So. Right, there's an 8mm collar that we'll use for the bottom end of it. And then I'm just going to cut this down to the length I want. I'm going to get the file and hacksaw. Right, next I'm going to install that in here with the pullers. If I get it the right way around. I want the bit that I've hacksawed off to be the side that I'm not screwing through the nut with. And you might be able to see if I get the collar. I'll put the collar on. That will stay there now. Make sure we're screwed in. And then what we're going to put here is we're going to put our 20 teeth or 22 teeth pulley. I've got a little bit extra protruding from the top. I'm going to move that down to the bottom. I'm just doing these loosely up for now, just in case I need to take it off. I don't want to be damaging the thread. But there we have it. One end of the pulley. Now it's all together, it feels quite good. So, right, I'll stop it there, go outside, clear coat the other side, and we'll come back in and we'll do the other rails. But that's pretty much a done gantry, albeit motors, belts, and we've got some plates to start again. We've got some plates to go in here to clamp the belt to it, but that can be done once the side panel's on and the belt will be installed. So one X carriage done. Here are our freshly painted side panels. as you know, I've made a slight mistake on the baseboard. I'll show you what I was meaning. So if we grab one of the rails and we line it up, you can see I'm 10 mil too long on them. So I'll have to get the drill out, drill them out. It's not a big problem. Right, these are going to be the parts we're going to be using for now. Yeah, alright. We'll take our gantry and we're going to be bolting side panels onto the side. There is an option to put hex nuts in here, so you can screw that way through it to clamp the belt down, but this time I'm going to go the other way. So we have the option to, for the belt clamps, to either put some nuts in here and screw it from this side, or do it from the other side if you wanted to. I'm not going to put nuts in here, I'm going to screw it from the other side of the panel, just my preference, but you could do it either way. Another thing to note is these holes here, through here and whatnot for grub screws, so you can screw the box section to the panels, but in my case these are stiff enough as it is, they're not coming off, so I'm not going to bother installing nuts here. Right. I will need to get the hacksaw out again, I forgot, oh well, but yeah. Alright, let's go and get these panels on. Let's see. Right, I'm just using a spare screw to put the nut on the other side, just loosely so I can hold it in place. And here I'm using 25mm long M3 nuts. I'm going to be using the bearing idler to cover these holes. Now on original models this was adjustable, but I found it too difficult to adjust the belt tension this way, so I'll show you what I do instead now. There we have, one side is on. No, I lied, not quite on yet. So we've got these two holes here, these are again for mounting the part, and then these are either motor mounts or belt clamps. So a couple more. There you go, one panel on. Now this side is slightly different, and I forgot a part, as we'll be having our drag train mount idler this side as well. Right. So exactly the same process as before. Let's get this done. Wait. One gantry put together. Now we'll get the y-axis idlers on. I'm pretty sure it's certain I've interchanged the axis, but yeah, I think we're nearly there on that. For this, I'm going to be using some coach bolts. You don't have to use coach bolts. It's just my preference. I like the feel on the inside, the look on them on the inside. Now, do I say what length they should be? 45. So how these work are, I'm not too sure which one you can see the easiest really, but they just go through and there's got like a hex square area that clamps inside and allows you to tighten it. But for now, I just want to double check my measurements. I'm just going to do a dry fit on this because I don't want them bolts protruding that long. So I'm just going to cut these down to length, same as done before. Now if you brought these the correct length you wouldn't have to do what I'm doing, but hey, I haven't. Yeah, we'll just check that does fit first. Wrong one. I want that one. So we know that will work, that measurement, so we're just going to do the rest. Right, there we go. Ignore the rubbish print quality there. That's terrible. But I've left this nut slightly longer than the first one I did, just because I like to see at least one thread showing. That one's a bit too short, showing on the outside. That's that done. Now we just need to do the other side. Coming along slowly. My helper's back. And here we go. We're going to sit there. So this setup, you could probably, with 6mm wide belt, you probably could get away with one ball bearing here, but on my first attempt, it kind of looked like it straddled there. The two ball bearings, so I'll keep the two in. Right, this is one pretty complete gantry now. You can see this side I've got no wires coming off the gantry from this side, and this side I'm planning on having my drag train, so that's why I've got this extra mount to tie cables to, just to keep them out of the belt as it moves, and when it will feed the second drag train. That's that now. I'll come back to these slightly later on, I think. I think it's time to get this baseboard working. Right. Oops. Now I already know that I've made a mistake here on these holes, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to move that 10mm back using the drill, and then I'll start doing the inserts and whatnot. So these are just insert, I don't know what they're called to be honest, but they've got like a thread inside that you can screw into wood and then use it as they're these, I use it to hold my workpiece down, so they're quite good. They've got a hex key on the top to allow you to screw them in. Now to get these rails with the gantry on it down, and we're getting there, really getting there. Right, put this to one side. Now to do the same as what we did on the X gantry. Now we have our 2 carriages ready to go onto our rails. Feels quite good. Alright. As I'm going to have my machine like this, with the cables this side, and my gantry sitting like this, I'm going to put the other drag chain mount here. And to do so, I need this part. Right, let's get some screws. Right, now to get the gantry onto the side panels. Sorry. Get this mounted onto the wooden panels. Right. These bolts I'm using are M3 by 30. I'm just double checking the length on them. Right, once that's done, we need to flip it over and attempt to do the same on the other side. Right. That's the one side done. Now let's do the same on the other side. Right. Now, this is only lightly fixed down. I'll tighten it up and set it all up once the machine's pretty much all together. Not many parts left in the box now. Most people don't realise that these are feet for the machine, so when you've got the screws, when you screw it in from the underneath, the screws on your desk or on your workbench, this will just stop it scratching your workbench, that's all. Right. Good. Let's have a look. Nice. Whoops, that's probably loud, sorry. Now, when we come to do this, we want to get all the nuts from one side in first. Make sure your cable's coming out the right way you want it. I think this is going to take the longer 35mm ones. So we'll start off just getting the one in first. And go from there. Again, I'm only loosely fitting this together. Right, I'll show you what I've just done. I've only loosely fitted these at the moment. But as you can see, I've fitted the top ones just to keep, so gravity keeps the nuts in the plastic parts for us, and just fitted the plastic feet. So now I'm going to flip it over the other way and do exactly the same again. Put the nuts in. All the parts, all the nuts that are slotted like this, they might feel loose, and that's why they're easy to start off and get the thread. But they actually go into a recess to be captive, so less likely to have a rotating nut in a plastic part this way. Starting to look like a CNC machine now. Right, next thing to do is just make sure these rails are running parallel, and then we'll tighten it down and make sure they're all in the right place. But it's looking good. Right. Alright, I'm going to start off tightening this one area, measuring these two distances, apply the same distance back here, again from the front, and then I'll work out the rear one, and that should mean it's fairly square. I already know that the corners of this board are square because of the way they will cut using a circular saw, a vertical or horizontal circular saw. So I'm pretty certain these two edges are square to one another, so I can take measurements from them. Right, now we've got this one rail fixed and square to parallel to that edge. It's just now adjusting this end to make sure that it too is running square. Right. Now I know this front edge are in line, I'm just going to use the gantry and double check. Seems like it's running quite nice anyway. There we go. Ah. So this is a machine, in an essence, pretty much assembled. Next thing we need to do is get our end stops in, our motors in, and get some electronics in. So mechanically wise, we're pretty much done. And then we'll get the belts on, and then hopefully get it moving. That's it for this episode. Stay tuned for the next one where we'll be going over the wiring for the Route 3 Lite CNC machine. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe and stay tuned for more. Thanks. Bye.